occasion of the 40th anniversary celebration of Sydney Malayali Association, we are proud and privileged to present to you this PowerPoint presentation containing glimpses of the history and achievements of our great association. It is known that Mr. Mohandas of Kayankulam arrived in Marrickville in 1949, and a few years later, Mr. George Varghese, who hails from Tiruvalla, arrived in Maroubra in 1963.
In 1966, after the Australian government liberalised the White Australia policy, a few Malayalis migrated to Sydney and surrounding areas. Following the abolition of White Australia policy in 1973, a few groups of Malayali professionals like doctors, teachers, engineers and nurses began to migrate to Sydney.
On 6 December 1975, a small group of Malayalis from Sydney and Canberra got together at Maroubra to celebrate Christmas. This get-together was of great historic significance as it was the forerunner of an organisation of Malayalis in Sydney. Following this get-together, the Malayali Association of Sydney came into being in 1976 with Mr. Matthew Marmodel as the first president and Mr. K. Raman as the first secretary, who are with us today. In 1981, the association organised a film show of the Malayalam movie Kadalpalam for the first time in Sydney. On 4th April 1982, a formal constitution was formulated to facilitate the functioning of the association. Kairali, an annual bilingual literary publication, was launched by the association in 1985.
The first ladies-only committee of the association, with its first female president, Mrs. Usha Matthew, took control of the association in 1998 and revitalized the working of the association, which was not functioning efficiently in the few preceding years.
This historic committee, headed by Mrs. Usha Matthew, organised the Silver Jubilee of the association in a solemn and ceremonial manner. Another milestone in the history of the Malayali Association was the renaming, registration and incorporation of the association as Sydney Malayali Association in 2005. In 2010, SYDMAL started to celebrate Kerala Piravi, the birthday of Kerala, in a traditional way, with special emphasis on the Malayalam language and Kerala's unique forms of art. In 2015, Sydney Malayali Association began preliminary activities to institute a Kerala Cultural Centre. Here we are tonight, witnessing the significant, historic and solemn celebration of the 40th anniversary of our dear Malayali Association. Now we will have a quick glance of the achievements of SYDMAL in the last 4 decades of its existence in this great city of Sydney.
In the last 4 decades of its existence, SYDMAL has created countless opportunities for the promotion, performance and enjoyment of our unique forms of art and culture. Kerala's unique traditional forms of art are given prominence in the cultural programs organized by the association.
Wherever we go, we Malayalis keep our language and culture dear to our hearts and endeavour to bequeath them to our next generation. Malayali Association has been commendably instrumental in the promotion of the Malayalam language in our community, especially among the young generation. The first initiative to promote and teach Malayalam language was the Malayalam School started by Rose Varghese in 1984 at Maroubra Junction High School under the auspices of the Malayali Association. Later in 1998, Malayalam classes were organised by the late Mrs. Leelamani Pilla in Pennant Hills and Mrs. Grace George in Strathfield. In the last few years, there have been vigorous attempts by language enthusiasts and volunteers, resulting in a number of Malayalam centres being started in different parts of Sydney. Malayali Association has wholeheartedly supported these noble ventures to promote our language and heritage.
Kairali bilingual literary magazine that Malayali Association initiated in 1985 was the first venture to promote and foster literary talents in our community. This publication continued to serve the Malayali community for a few years after. In 2001, a group of voluntary literature enthusiasts took up this initiative and started publishing an annual literary magazine, Kerala Nadam. This publication continues its literary journey ever after.
SYDMAL takes special interest in supporting the new Malayali immigrants by providing basic settling assistance and continued support. SYDMAL also supports the community by providing reference certificates to members of our community in the pursuit of employment and business opportunities. SYDMAL operates in collaboration with other Indian associations, Indian Embassy and various governmental agencies in Australia. SYDMAL is a member of United India Associations and the Australian Ethnic Community Council with representation in the governing committees of these organisations. We are proud to state that Mr. George Varghese and Mr. Padmanabhan Karamal have served as ECC's Vice Chairpersons, representing Sydney Malayali Association. Since the humble beginning of Malayali Association 4 decades ago, many selfless, social-oriented individuals have served the association and the community as office bearers. Beginning with the first president, Mr. Matthew Marmudil, the list of such honourable leaders of our community extends to the current president, Mr. Babu Varghese, and the current executive committee under his leadership.